So, Johnny Depp is one of the most successful actors on the planet. Now, he has had a history of drug and alcohol abuse, but we can't argue with the fact that he's one of the most successful people in the world. Now, one thing that fascinates me is how successful people think. Like, I love reading about mindset and just how they process things and how they see the world, because I think that that's where we can learn so much, because everything in life starts with mindset, right? Any goal, anything, it all starts with how we think. So if we can learn more about how Johnny Depp thinks about the world and how we can apply this to not drinking alcohol, I mean, what a great, powerful combination. Now, obviously, his name has been dragged through the media recently, and it looks like he won that case. I'll be honest, I don't know what was going on. I didn't watch any of it. I don't watch the news. I don't watch mainstream media. That's just not what I do. I'll tell you something. I cut out all mainstream media in January of this year, and my life has been so much better, so much more stable. Enough about that. Back to Johnny Depp. What I've done is I've curated 4 quotes from Johnny Depp, and we're going to dive into each quote and how it relates to not drinking alcohol. So if we can use his mindset and the way that he views the world on this drinking problem, it's powerful. So the first quote from Depp is this: just keep moving forward and don't give a shit about what anyone thinks. Do what you have to do for you. How powerful? How powerful? How many of us make decisions based on what other people will think about us, how they're going to judge us? And how relevant is that to alcohol? It is so relevant. I remember during many attempts that I tried to stop drinking alcohol. Actually, when I was in university, I worked in a restaurant, right? So I was a waiter and serving tables and doing that stuff. And there were periods where I tried to stop drinking alcohol. I'd go to the pub, like after work with all of the team, and I wasn't drinking. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, go on, Leon, have a drink. And I thought, oh, I don't want to ruin a party. I'll drink. And I'm making decisions based on what everybody else thinks of me. You know, how many of us have done that? We've made a decision based on how somebody else will perceive us. You know, how many people have like enrolled on certain degrees? Like, I don't know, they're from a family of doctors. The child wants to be an actor and they go and do a doctor degree because that's what the family wants. How many of us do this, right? We do things to impress people and not upset people. And I've done this with drinking so many times. Now, I want you to get your head clear around this. If you make a decision to not drink alcohol, that's a good decision. You've made that decision because you think, you truly know that your life will be better without it. I need to make this extremely clear. How other people react to your decision has got nothing to do with the decision itself. It's got everything to do with that person. Now, I learned this recently, but when somebody has a certain kind of reaction to you. Now, if you go up to somebody and say, hey, John, what do you think about me not drinking alcohol? The response that they give you is it's not completely true. I'll explain. If John turns around and says, Leon, why would you want to stop drinking alcohol? Like, we can just have a few here and there. He's not giving me information that is necessarily beneficial to me. What that individual will be doing is giving information and explaining what's important to him. What's important to John in this scenario is I keep drinking alcohol so he can still have a drinking partner. And we've got to be very careful. When people start giving us opinions, they're not telling us what's best for us. They're saying, this is what's important to me. So be really, really careful when you tell somebody else that you're not drinking alcohol and they kind of give you a bit of backfire. Because what they're really saying is not what's important to you, it's what's important to them. So you've got to be really careful about being able to separate the message and the messenger. And at the end of the day, if we do what Depp says and just we don't care what anybody else thinks, and we do what we think's best for us, that's a much better formula for living. Don't you agree? Now, the second quote from Depp is, it's only a bad day, not a bad life. That's deep, because whether you drink alcohol or not, you will encounter bad days. Bad days are coming. Trust me, that is life. We have good days, we have bad days. And what we can do is, if we make a decision to become a non-drinker and we go through life and we're faced with some kind of challenge, sometimes we want to escape. We don't want to face it. We don't want to deal with it. We want to just drink, not deal with it properly, and that's it. Now, what we've got to understand is that when we drink alcohol, the problems don't go away. We just kind of get into this feeling of escapism and turning our back on it and thinking that if we have a few drinks, the problem won't be there anymore. We've got to understand that bad things happen to people that don't drink and drink, right? But what happens when we don't drink is that we're just 100 times better equipped to deal with any kind of problem. Now, for regular viewers of this channel, you'll know that I've not drank for 4 years. I tried AA, wasn't for me, but my mum has been to AA for 20 years. Now, whilst I was growing up, she used to she used to say like little phrases and little sayings that have actually stuck with me up until I've been an adult. And some of them were super helpful. One of the things that she used to say was, the best is yet to come, right? The best days of your life are yet to come. They're not here yet. And provided that you stick on your path to not drinking alcohol, things will get better. And they'll keep getting better. Yeah, there's going to be ups and downs along the way, but things are just going to slowly progress and your best days are yet to come. Which leads me to the third quote. I like the challenge of trying different things and wondering whether it's going to work or whether I'm going to fall flat on my face. Now, this is super relevant to somebody that's not drinking alcohol, because if you were anything like me, you had tried multiple things to stop drinking alcohol. You'd read books, you'd gone to meetings, you might have tried a therapist, you might have gone to a rehab, you might have tried some medication, you might have tried different things. The important thing is that you don't stop trying, right? You may have fallen flat on your face 10 times already, trying different methods, trying different things, trying willpower. And really, the difference between you and somebody that solves the problem of their alcohol problem is that the person that permanently solves the problem, they didn't stop trying. They didn't give up trying. They kept trying, despite maybe falling flat on their face 100 times. I've told you guys before, I have tried to stop drinking infinite numbers of times. I can't count, because I have no idea, because I've tried so many times. And I've fallen flat on my face. But the only reason why I stopped is because I was willing to try again, and again, and again, and again, until things clicked, until I changed the way I viewed alcohol, until I reframed it and got on with things. So again, super powerful quote for somebody on their journey to not drinking alcohol. Which leads me to the final quote. I am doing things that are true to me. The only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. Now, if you go to Alcoholics Anonymous and that's your thing, just switch the video off now. Don't watch this last point. But for me, I had a problem when I went to Alcoholics Anonymous with being labeled an alcoholic. I didn't want to wrap my identity, because I think identity is very, very powerful. I think the way that we see ourselves is extremely important. I didn't want to wrap my identity around this label of being an alcoholic, because that's there for life. That's what I got told, right? Now, I'm glad that I saw through this. I'm glad that I've not given myself any labels. You know, I know my channel says Sober Leon, but I don't think of myself as sober. I just think of myself as the way God made me, the normal me, without alcohol in my life. My name's Sober Leon on here, so people know what the channel's about, right? I don't go around saying to people, oh, I'm Sober Leon. I try not to label myself in any way, especially when it comes to labeling myself with a drinking problem. So the way I see it is that I had a drinking problem. I wasn't the problem. I had a problem, I solved the problem, I moved on with things, and I'm done. Now, I don't want to knock you. Like, my mum gave herself that label, didn't drink for 20 years, worked for her. It's not for me. Anyway, guys, if you actually want to work with me in the Sober Clay coaching program, where we use something called first principles thinking to reframe how you view alcohol, and then we have coaching and support and a community of business owners and professionals, click the link in the description. You can book a call. You and I can jump on a call and see if working together could be a good match. Or you can just go to soberclay.com for more details. And if you click the video on the screen now, you can learn 3 secrets to get control of your drinking.